Hi everybody, welcome back to Saturday Stories. So, I have a pre-story before my story. So, a couple years ago, and by a couple years I mean like anywhere between 10 and 16 years ago, I crashed my motor, what? Try again. I almost said motorcycle. It's not a motorcycle, it's just a regular mountain bike. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. No, that's not what happened. I crashed my mountain bike. I crashed my motorcycle. I don't even own one. My dad does though. And I got hurt kind of badly, but nothing like, I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't bad. Does that make sense? So, I don't have any pictures from the night that it happened. And so yesterday, I'm sitting in here and I'm like, oh, okay, well, what can I do for like a good thumbnail? And I thought of it and I was like, Dad, do you have a bike? And he was like, no, why? And I was like, because I need one. And he was like, I mean, we have Ashley's old bike, she's my sister, and I was like, okay, well, can I use it? And he was like, it's broken. And I was like, I don't care, I just need to lay in it. And he was like, you need to lay in the bike? What is wrong with you? And I was like, nothing. I just need to lay in the bike. And my mom in the background was just like, what's going on? And my dad goes, your daughter wants to lay inside of the bike. Which is hilarious. So, I went out, got the bike, laid it down, and I had him come out and take a picture of me laying inside the bike. Because when I fell and crashed my bicycle, I was like intertwined with the whole bike. And one of my shoes came off, and it was something else. And I kind of wanted to reenact that and put that as my thumbnail, because I mean, it's something that actually happened, and I'm about to tell you the story on what happened. So, yeah. So my parents and I and my little sister, we grew up in a very, very busy town. And it was kind of, I don't want to say dangerous, but dangerous to be like driving all over the place, because our house literally was by a busy, really, really busy street. And so my parents always had this rule of, you can go out front, but you have to stay in our eyesight. And there was a lot of instances where people were breaking into cars and people were kidnapping and they were like being peeping toms into the houses or whatever. And so they were really strict about, if we were going to be in the front yard, we had to be by the house. And if we were going to go past the house, we had to ask. Which is fine, it's typical, whatever. So one of my friends came over from like across the street and he wanted to ride bikes. And my sister and I are really close. We're like this. And so every time I went outside to play or whatever, she came with. And we were going to ride our bikes. So we got the okay to go from stop sign to stop sign. So one end to the other. And if you go outside the front door and you look right, at the end of the street is a four-way stop. And whenever my sister and I would get to the four-way stop, even though we are not supposed to pass that stop sign, we would just go in a giant circle around the four-way stop, like in the middle of the street. And then we would come back up. And I had another friend who lived on the other block. And the friend that came out, friend A, we're going to call him friend A, came out. We were riding bikes. We were going back and forth. And he went all the way around the block, not realizing we couldn't go with him. So we get to the end of the street, and we're doing our whole, gonna go around the four-way stop thing. And my other friend, who lives on the other block, he was in his car with his family coming down my street. And at first I didn't realize that it was him. I got really distracted by the car because I thought that the car looked really nice, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a nice car, I'm gonna look at it. I don't remember most of what happened. My sister saw the entire thing happen. So, from her standpoint, most of the story is going to be in her standpoint. I do remember, however, turning around, and I was coming up the street, and I went to stand up on my bike because it's kind of like a hill, so I would stand up to pedal so I can pedal faster up the hill. And I remember all of my attention was on the car because the car was coming down the street, so I was A, making sure that I didn't get hit, B, that my sister didn't get hit, and C, it was a nice car, so I was looking at it like wishing it was mine. Because that's just how I am. And I hit a rock. A rock. Which is crazy because this is supposed to be a mountain bike where you literally would ride it on a dirt trail with rocks. But one single rock, I hit it. And because I didn't notice that I hit the rock, according to my sister, when I stood up, I hit the rock and my foot slid off the pedal. So my right foot slid off the pedal and it went straight into the tire. Well, because it went straight into the tire, it went like this. And I don't know exactly what happened to my foot, but after it went into the tire, it went like this, and then my foot, I believe, like jolted back or whatever, and my shoe came off. I didn't realize that my shoe came off, and the pedal embedded itself in the back of my heel and like the back of my ankle, and so I have a backwards C scar from that. And because it was going out of whack and my foot was going crazy, having its own little dance party, I did 180 over the front of my bike, and the bike came with me. And I was not wearing any types of padding, so there was no shoulder paddings. There was no elbow paddings, no knee paddings. I was not wearing a helmet because I always thought, well, I'm always careful, I don't need to wear one. False. Even if you don't think so, do it. And so I don't remember any of that. I remember slipping, and then I remember falling forward. And then I do not remember hitting the ground. I remember trying to catch myself. Like, I remember putting my hands out because I know I was falling forward, and I wanted to land on my hands and not my head because I knew I wasn't wearing any protection on my head. And the next thing I know, I cannot see anything, minus one single tree. I cannot hear anything, and I cannot feel anything. The only thing that I could see was a tree. It was like all types of in front of me, and the tree was moving. The tree was like following me. I felt, the only thing I could feel was gravel going right across my right eye. I could not feel anything else. And the tree, I assumed I was sliding because I could feel the gravel moving, and so the tree was just following my vision, and I couldn't hear anything, and the only thing that I can remember was me thinking to myself, please do not let me lose my right eyesight. And I said that over and over and over. I don't know why I would have lost my eyesight, and I think it's because the gravel felt like it was like literally passing the corner of my eye, and I blacked out. I do not remember anything else. From my sister's standpoint, I flipped over the bike and I smacked my head on the pavement and it bounced up. I hit it again. She said it was either 2 or 3 times that my head hit the ground and back up, and then it came. And then she said I slid about a foot just on my face. And according to her, my eyes went to the back of my head, and I was laying in the street for like 2 to 3 minutes, and I was not getting up. The car was still there. She was just standing there looking at me like they were waiting for me to get up. She didn't go get my dad. She didn't go get my mom. The people in the car didn't get out of the car. Like, she got off her bike, and they were just, like, sitting there. And I was not getting up. I was not responding. And to me, it felt, obviously, I got up because I'm here making this video for you. But to me, it felt like I got right back up. It felt like I went down, I came back up. Boom, hello, hi, I'm here. So, I jump up, and I can't move my foot. And I'm like, why can't I move my foot? Like, what just happened? I didn't realize at first where I was. I didn't realize that I had fallen off my bike or any of that. And I literally thought I got back up. Like, the first thing I said was, I'm okay, I'm up, here I am. And I tried to move, but my leg was, like, intertwined with the bike. Kind of like how you see in the thumbnail. And where here's the bike, and then this is my foot. It's literally, like, intertwined. It's really hard to do that with my fingers. Cannot believe I just did that. Taking your nose. Wow. And then this is the really weird part. My right foot is what got all up in the tire. But when I tried to step with my left foot, I could not step on it without limping because I sprained that ankle. And that's when I noticed that my shoe had come off. So I was like, where's my shoe? And it was like on the other side of the street. And I turn around and I look at my sister and she's just standing there. The car is still there. And I'm like, what happened? Where's my bike? I mean, where's my shoe? And she was like, it's right over there. I was like, get my bike. And I don't know why. I was angry. I felt angry. I was like, okay, they just saw that happen. I just witnessed this myself because it happened to me. We need to go because whatever. It literally felt like my entire face was covered in blood. I don't know. Actually, I do know. It was kind of windy, and this entire side of my face messed up, and the wind was kind of like blowing this way. So my entire face, it felt like I had just messed up my whole face. And so I grabbed my shoe, and I told her to grab my bike and let's go. The people never got out of the car, and after they saw me start to walk back home, they left. And she followed. I don't know if she brought the bike, or if my friend had come back at that point and got the bike. I did not get my bike. I just grabbed my shoe and I limped my way home. And I remember throwing open the door and I was like, Mom, Dad, I need you in the bathroom right now. And I'm just walking through the house. And they're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I was like, right now, I need you. And I'm crying. And, well, I wasn't crying yet. But the moment I looked at myself in the mirror, I just started crying. Because I was like, oh my God, what did I do to my face? So my sharp tooth went into, or the top tooth went into my bottom lip. Like inside of it. So I have a scar from my tooth on the inside of my lip. And I have 2 or 3 scars right here on my lip. I don't know if you can see them. Like right here and right here. They've kind of faded now because it was years ago. But I have scars from the street. I had a fat lip. I had a road rash on my forehead. Both of my hands had scratches on them from the gravel. Both of my knees were messed up. And I hurt my ankle. And so my dad, you know, my parents were cleaning me up. He has me come out to the living room. And he takes my foot and he's twisting it all types of ways. And it hurts. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm trying to see if it's broken. And I'm like, by twisting it? It wasn't broken. It was just badly sprained. And, you know, at the time, my sister's room and my room looked like hurricanes and tornadoes and all types of natural disasters had just struck the bedroom. So it was really hard to maneuver in there. And I'm laying on the bed and I'm being called to the other room. And I'm trying to sit up and it just hurts to sit up. Like, my stomach just hurts so bad. And I don't know why. And so I lift up my shirt, and I kid you not, there is a bruise on my, almost said shoulder, on my stomach, the size of $quarter. Just, it was huge. Just on my stomach. And I was like, what is that from? And it was black and blue. And then, you know, I showed it to my parents and whatever, and I asked my sister, I was like, how did I get this? And she was like, well, you landed on your handlebar. So the handlebar was sticking straight up. The tire, I made parallel with the handlebar. So the tire and the handlebar was sticking straight up. The wires in the tire were bent and off whack. Like, my dad tried to fix the bike, and the bike would constantly just sway back and forth like this. Like, there was no fixing the bike. And I landed on top of the handlebar that was sticking straight up on my stomach, and I hit my head on the ground. And that's what had happened with that. So there is a moral to the story, because I have always, I don't know why, it's kind of stupid, but I have always wanted an actual reason. I still don't understand why, because I thought it was cool. An actual reason to wear a Band-Aid on my forehead. I don't know why. I just, for whatever reason, I thought it looked cool to have a Band-Aid on my forehead, and, you know, I would always pretend that there was one, and my parents would get mad because I would waste a Band-Aid on nothing. And so I was like, man, I wish I had an actual reason to put one on there, but not like something that would, like, really hurt me or something like that, but I wish I would have, like, an actual reason to do it. The bike accident gave me the reason to wear a Band-Aid on my forehead. So that, to me, is like, you should be careful what you wish for, because you never know the extent to your wish. And, like, you have to stop and think, okay, well, what am I asking when I'm making this wish? Even if you don't believe in wishes, or don't believe that they come true or not, and even if you do believe it, you have to, like, I don't know, like, break down the entire wish. Because in my head, I really didn't think that in order, or how I would get something like that on my forehead. Like, how would I come in contact with a reason to put something on my head like that? That requires me to get a head injury of some sort in order to have a Band-Aid stuck on my head. So why would I wish for something like that? I don't know. And so that was just, that was the moral of the story, is you should always be careful what you wish for, because you never know. It might come true, and if it does, it's probably not always going to be the best. And that, I'm telling you, surely wasn't. It took me a long time after that accident to get back on a bike, because I was scared. I don't understand why I was scared. It was just an accident. They happen. When I did get back on a bike, it was really fun. I had a lot of fun, and I got back out there. My sister missed it. I missed it. And actually, the first time I got back on my bike was at one of my best friend's house. And she wanted to go outside because it was nice outside. And she wanted to be the one to help me get back up there. And so I did. And we drove all the way around. And it was really fun.